Welcome to our concluding episode of Listening to the Voice of God, Recognizing Truth in a World of Noise. Today's broadcast, titled Ongoing Trust, Living Out Our Faith by Listening to God, will focus on what it means to continually listen and respond to God's voice. There are two key points that I'd like to emphasize. First, it's an active listening on our part. True listening is ongoing, attentively tuning our hearts to God's voice and responding with trust. Obedience involves listening under the continual guidance of Jesus, receiving His activity in our lives. The second key point is rejection of religious performances. Many Christians are caught up in religious performance, in behavioral modification. Religion often emphasizes outward actions, and as I mentioned, trying to get us to behave properly, while true listening draws us beyond ritual into the intimacy of trusting and following Christ. Have you experienced that? There's a resistance to that. There's a resistance to His presence. And this resistance to relational listening often stems from a reluctance to embrace the idea of a God who still speaks personally and intimately to us today. Yet, for those who walk with Christ, His voice remains active and present in their daily lives, inviting them into a vibrant, ongoing relationship grounded in His love and guidance. Hearing God's voice is rooted in the deep belief of understanding that we're in union with Christ and that we are continually in a relationship where His activity of grace is to be responded by our faith activity of reception. In a covenant relationship, belief isn't just mental assent or agreement. It's an active response to God's grace. Those who walk with Him continually tune their hearts to His guidance and hear His voice. A beautiful illustration of this is thinking of a musician tuning their instrument. Even if it sounded perfect yesterday, they need to retune daily to stay in harmony. Likewise, we must tune our hearts to God's voice each day. For those who walk closely with Christ, His voice is a present reality. They're aware of the fact that there is no separation, that they're in union with Christ, that they're in fellowship with Christ, and they walk relationally with Christ throughout the day, understanding that Christ is inviting them into a continuous, trust-filled relationship. How are you responding to Christ's leading in your life? Are you actively following His voice? Are you aware of what He's speaking to you, what He's up to in you? May I encourage you to commit this week to intentional listening? Be attentive to God's presence throughout the day, inviting God to speak. And as He does, record any insights that He reveals to you. Trust that He is guiding you. Trust that He is speaking to you. Thanks for joining us for this series on discerning God's voice. May you continue to walk in His presence, listening and responding to His love daily. If you've benefited from this series on hearing God's voice, please share it with your friends and give me a like for the broadcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Touch that notification bell and I love hearing from you. Please leave me your comments in the comments section below. Until next time, it's my prayer for you that you experience life as God intended.